Permission to begin, the radical art of starting where you are. Have you ever felt like you're waiting for a permission slip that's never going to arrive? That mythical moment when you'll finally feel qualified enough, prepared enough, perfect enough to begin pursuing what matters most? I recently had the privilege of interviewing Nicole on the Soft Girl Era podcast, a visionary whose work has transformed thousands of lives across the entrepreneurial landscape. Her brilliance isn't just in her business acumen, but in her revolutionary approach to empowerment that has shattered glass ceilings for Black professionals, especially women. What makes Nicole extraordinary is her ability to see possibility where others see limitations, to create pathways where society has built walls, and to speak truth with such clarity that it awakens something dormant in everyone fortunate enough to hear her wisdom. As she spoke about empowering Black professionals, business leaders, and entrepreneurs, one truth emerged with crystal clarity. The starting line is exactly where you stand right now, not where you wish you were, not where society says you should be, but right here in this imperfect, beautiful mess of your current reality. You don't need permission or perfection to begin, Nicole emphasized, her voice carrying the weight of someone who's walked this path. Your past doesn't disqualify you, your present doesn't define you, and your future is yours to create. I'll admit, I nearly applauded right there in the recording studio because how many of us are stuck in the waiting room of our own lives, waiting until we have the perfect credentials, waiting until we've cleared all our debt, waiting until our children are older, waiting until we feel worthy. It's rather funny, isn't it? We treat our dreams like fine china, too precious to actually use. We'll take them out someday, we tell ourselves, when the occasion is special enough, when we're ready enough, when we've somehow earned the right to want what we want. Let me tell you about Natalie Nicole Smith, whose story Nicole shared during our conversation. Natalie started as what she calls a bottle girl, someone starting at the absolute bottom. Today, she's a multimillionaire entrepreneur who built her empire through network marketing. But here's what makes her story remarkable. She didn't wait until everything lined up perfectly. She didn't wait until she had conquered all her self doubt or until society gave her permission to succeed as the Black woman in business. She started building with what she had, her network marketing skills, and her authentic voice. She showed up imperfectly but consistently. She focused on community building within her organization while simultaneously working on her personal development. The result wasn't just financial wealth, it was a legacy of empowerment for other women who see themselves in her journey. What's particularly striking about Natalie's story is the obstacles she faced. Financial instability dogged her early steps. Societal expectations that often limit Black women's economic mobility created headwinds at every turn. Self doubt whispered constantly that she needed to appear together before pursuing her dreams. Yet instead of waiting for external validation, that mythical permission slip we're all searching for, she leveraged what she had and began building immediately. I wonder how many empires remain unbuilt because we're waiting to feel ready. How many books remain unwritten? How many lives remain untransformed? How many innovations never see the light of day? During our interview, Nicole leaned forward and said something that stopped me in my tracks. Wealth is more than money. It's clarity, peace, and the power of choice. Let that sink in for a moment. True wealth means being able to say no without fear and yes without hesitation. It starts with aligning your resources, your time, your energy, your money with your values. This redefinition of wealth feels revolutionary in a world that constantly tells us, especially as Black women, that our worth is tied to our productivity, our sacrifice, our ability to carry everyone else's burdens while neglecting our own needs. But what if we've been measuring wealth all wrong? What if wealth begins with the courage to drop the superwoman cape? What if it starts with learning to say no without guilt? What if it's rooted in self love and authenticity rather than external validation? These questions aren't just philosophical musings, they're at the heart of what Nicole calls building possibility from where you are. When I asked her about the biggest obstacle she sees holding people back, her answer was immediate: perfectionism disguised as preparation. We've all been there, haven't we? Telling ourselves we're just being thorough, just doing our research, just making sure we're ready, when really we're paralyzed by the fear of not being enough. It reminds me of a woman I know who spent 7 years researching how to start a business. 7 years of courses, books, podcasts, and workshops. 7 years of preparation without action. 7 years of getting ready to get ready. When I gently asked what she was waiting for, her answer was heartbreaking in its honesty. I'll know I'm ready when I'm not afraid anymore. But here's the inconvenient truth that Nicole so brilliantly articulates. The fear doesn't go away before you start. It goes away because you start and discover that imperfect action trumps perfect inaction every single time. Progress beats perfection every time. Nicole shared, celebrate every small win, build systems that support your dreams, give yourself permission to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. I love that paradox, being both complete and incomplete simultaneously. It's the kind of spiritual, emotional, and mental recalibration that allows us to move forward without having everything figured out. This message resonates deeply with the soft girl era philosophy, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. It's about releasing the cape we've been wearing for far too long. Nicole's interview reminded me that redefining strength doesn't mean abandoning ambition. It means approaching our goals from a place of wholeness rather than lack. It means understanding that softness isn't weakness, it's a radical act of self love. When Natalie Nicole Smith was building her business empire, she didn't just focus on strategies and sales targets. She battled the internalized messages about worthiness that told her success wasn't for people who looked like her or came from her background. Her visibility now challenges stereotypes about who can achieve wealth in America. She inspires others not just through her results, but through her transparency about valuing process over perfection. This is what it means to protect your peace as a practice, to actively create space for joy, rest, and boundaries, even as you pursue your goals. During our conversation, Nicole shared a powerful affirmation that I've since written on my bathroom mirror. I am worthy of success that doesn't require my suffering. Read that again. I am worthy of success that doesn't require my suffering. For many of us, especially Black women who've been conditioned to equate achievement with sacrifice, this statement feels almost heretical. We've been taught that the path to success is paved with exhaustion, that burnout is the badge of honor, that putting ourselves last is the price of admission. But what if there's another way? What if we could build wealth, financial, emotional, spiritual wealth, without abandoning ourselves in the process? What if we could turn our survival into something sacred? Nicole believes we can. And her interview offered practical wisdom for how to begin. Start with clarity about what you truly value, not what you've been told to value. Align your resources with those values, even when it means making uncomfortable choices. Build systems that support your dreams rather than relying solely on motivation or willpower. Celebrate progress, not just perfection. Give yourself permission to rest without explanation. Set boundaries without apology. Say no without guilt. These aren't just self help platitudes, they're radical acts of self reclamation in a world that profits from our self doubt. The journey to wealth begins with believing you deserve it. Nicole emphasized, not because you've earned it through suffering, but because abundance is your birthright. This perspective shifts everything. It moves us from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, from surviving to thriving, from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. I asked Nicole what advice she would give to someone who feels stuck in survival mode, someone who can't imagine having the luxury of softness or self care. Her response was both compassionate and challenging. Start where you are with what you have. 5 minutes of intentional breathing is self care. Saying no to one obligation that drains you is a boundary. Celebrating one small win is progress. She continued, the path from survival to softness isn't a giant leap, it's a series of tiny choices that prioritize your well being. This is the heart of what it means to embrace your soft girl era, not as a trend, but as a lifestyle rebellion. A deep exhale from the Superwoman script, a quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. So here we stand at a crossroads. Before us stretches two paths, one well worn by our own footsteps, the path of waiting, preparing, perfecting, and another less traveled, the path of beginning exactly where we are. The first path promises safety but delivers stagnation. The second offers no guarantees except this, that in the act of beginning, we discover strengths we never knew we possessed. Today, I challenge you to take one imperfect step toward what matters most to you. Not next week, not when you feel ready, today. Write the first paragraph of that book. Make that uncomfortable phone call. Invest that first dollar. Set that boundary. Speak that truth. Take that rest without explanation. Your permission slip isn't coming in the mail. It was never going to, because the authority to begin has always resided within you, waiting not for perfection, but for recognition. The world doesn't need your perfection, it needs your presence, your voice, your gifts, however imperfectly offered. So begin. Begin messy, begin scared, begin uncertain, but begin. Because as Nicole so powerfully reminded us, your past doesn't disqualify you. Your present doesn't define you, and your future is yours to create. The starting line is exactly where you stand. What will you build from here?